Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me. Super happy to have you here. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we look at more of the intuitive layers of life, what might be going on in your energy, in the collective, in the astrology as well. So let's look at what the weekly energy holds. When I am recording, these messages are always timeless, number one, but I am recording October 6th through the 12th energy. Thankfully, there is a lot more reprieve, meaning peace, calm, stuff is not as chaotic this week. And this is something that we all need, right? A rebalancing is what I'm hearing. And that's what I really love about Libra season. It is about balancing the scales, right? So if you've been experiencing a lot that feels overwhelming or undeserved, or you're just struggling to get through things, Libra season is great for that rebalancing. It really highlights partnerships, relationships, choices that we make in those dynamics and how they really fare for us. So that is being put front and center, and especially some of the harder stuff. Pluto is in retrograde. It's actually going direct this week, thank God. It's been several months, and this is the last retrograde before it finally settles into Aquarius. So lots of change, right? Lots of change, but we're coming towards the tail end of it. And as I was preparing for this reading, I was hearing harnessing your potential. So having a handle on what's been happening in your life, more of the trickier things, right? And now that you're getting into that groove, it's time to kind of reclaim and harness that potential, right? It's seeing what is left to work with, what is igniting your fire, your passion for life, those goals, dreams, ideas about what you want to manifest for your happiness and fulfillment. We'll start with this energy cleansing, set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, a little blessing for you, a little blessing for me, and for the reading alike. This is a really good time too to set your own intention. So if you have messages or questions you would like answered from spirit, definitely give those over and be open to receive. I also do personal readings. These are collective, right? So just take what resonates, leave the rest behind. I do personal readings, tarot, astrology, mediumship, as well as energy healings and holistic wellness consultations. So kind of that mind, body, soul action. We need to be in alignment in order to achieve our success, or else we make wonky decisions, things that don't really pan out. Maybe for our learning, maybe for our growth, but that's not fun. I'm kidding. It's always good to grow, right? It's always good to grow. The nature of life is to grow and evolve. So let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm, defeat. Cleanse and remove those from our being, so that we can see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love. Okay, so as I was saying, this week is a little bit nicer. It's less tense. We had a new moon last week in Libra, and it was a solar eclipse. So that brings out a lot of external change. And I feel like you're starting to see things shift in a way that's working a little bit more in your favor, especially if you have been like quote unquote faithful and committed to your path. Yes, it doesn't mean like all tension is gone, but things are definitely lessening this week, and therefore we're feeling a little bit more empowerment. It's not as much about making things happen. Mars has been tensely aspected, and which makes movement, right, progress difficult to achieve. It's actually the only positive aspect it has is towards Saturn and Venus. So when we are falling, when we can see clearly the changes that we need to make, when we can honor and love ourselves in order to make those changes, that's where we're going to see the momentum. If we're trying to force our agenda or kind of do something low vibey, a little shady, a little sneaky, Mars is going to stop you, you know, and that's just the nature of the beast right now. A lot is unfolding this week. I feel like things are starting to come together. Things are starting to align with this synchronicity card. So beginning of the week, even though, like I said, there still is some tension in the air, it's not as intense as what we have been feeling. And you're starting to see good results. The moon is positively aspected to Mars. So even if we're not seeing, you know, the goal accomplished or what we want manifest, it's still like there's hope. You know, we're still like, I'm hearing like you're falling in love with a new way of living, a new way of being, a new version of yourself. And maybe this version you've always known, right? But it's coming to life in a more beautiful and authentic way. And it's putting you in this position, to be incredibly powerful this week. I love that Deus Ex Machina. That's like one of my favorite cards because it really is about like being a ninja master at like whatever you are trying to bring in. And with this rebalancing in Libra, like I was talking about, especially in regards to our relationships, it gives us more of a feeling of courage, of stability, of strength, and that we can achieve. You know, it's also, unfortunately or not, been highlighting people, situations, that just really don't fit with you, that don't vibe with you, that aren't like adding positivity, goodness, love, support to your life. And I'm not talking about like the little, I mean, I think this goes without saying, but I'm not talking about like the little fights and anger and, you know, whatever. We all come into that tension, right? But these are the bigger things of where like people have been taking their sweet time or trying to control, trying to manipulate, getting into that naysayer vibe, right? Of kind of like the haterade, right? Trying to make you feel bad or unworthy, unloved. And a lot of this, you know, I love this overarching energy for the week is reawakening, right? Reawakening to that potential I was talking about in the beginning. And stuff is aligning in the way that things are starting to come to head, right? Especially, like I said, the things that have been a little bit more stressful. The Jupiter is harmoniously aspected to Chiron, right? And I love this because with that in mind, it's all about walking away, like not investing in the toxicity anymore, not investing in the people, places, and things that have, that have brought you down, that haven't really been an authentic support in your life. You have been taking your time to remove these things out of your life, and you're starting to see the benefits. And it's almost saying with this 8 of Cups synchronicity card, it's saying that the more that you cut out the toxic, whether it's toxic patterns, behavior within yourself or people around you, etc., the more you're going to see this power coming through. Yeah, because I feel like it's been really hard for you to see yourself clearly, especially amidst some of the stuff that is going on. people have judged you, labeled you, kind of pointed the finger, projected a lot of blame onto you, and it's been overwhelming. You know, you've had a big burden to carry. You've had to move more into this masculine energy of making things happen, finding that stability even without the support, the stability within yourself, the way that you support yourself. Beginning of the week, it does look like we have the King of Wands. Wands family has been popping up for us on the regular. Someone wants a new beginning with you. Someone wants maybe to bury the hatchet is what I'm hearing. This does feel like past energy. This person is nervous. This person is nervous because I feel like you're not engaging with them anymore. This person's situation, take it how it fits. These are collective readings, obviously. So I feel like, yeah, they're nervous about you walking away or setting stronger boundaries. I feel like they've really been dragging their heels around either patching things up with you or being a little bit more honest and authentic is what I'm hearing. They've been very much in that fire masculine energy that I've been talking about. You could be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We see them pop up on the regular in our readings, probably the past couple weeks or so. But this could just also be someone who's really trying to like control, manipulate, be the person on top. And it looks like they're bringing in a new offer for you. Yeah, they're finally ready to communicate. They're finally ready to connect with you. And I feel like this is someone or something, yeah, that you have kind of given a hall pass, or always, you know, when they come back around, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Like you're always kind of, maybe you're the nicer of the two, maybe you just understand where they're coming from, etc. It's like they kind of project all their shit onto you, and every time they do apologize or try to start fresh again, you give them that hall pass. And it's actually saying like to wait it out, wait how this feels. This is a theme, especially with past energies right now, especially with past energies that have kind of gone awry. Black Moon Lilith is in opposition to the North Node. And so that really talks about how people can be a little bit sneaky right now. They can try to manipulate the situation, telling you what you want to hear, but not necessarily following through. And that's why Spirit's saying, take your time, right? Take your time, feel into it. How does it feel? What are you sensing about it? Relying on your intuition, right? Relying on those gut instincts. Sorry, I get a little ahead of myself. Relying on those gut instincts to really inform you how this feels, how this fits for your energy. Because again, there's not a lot of chaos in the beginning of the week. And so you have your wits about you a little bit more is what I'm seeing. Like you're a little bit more emotionally grounded and centered, even though, yeah, the change kind of sucks and there's fear that you're not going to get what you want on the other side. At the same time, I'm seeing a lot more peace in your energy. And again, it's because you're showing up for yourself in a beautiful way. Like, I'm not putting up with the BS anymore. I'm not letting that kind of infiltrate how I think and feel about myself or what I choose to do. And it's really setting the groundwork. It's setting the stage for this energy that's coming in for you towards the end of the week, where you are feeling very strong and very empowered. In the beginning, you might be a little hesitant, right? And this is kind of where this whole situation is gonna pop up, you know, especially if you're like uncertain, questioning yourself, not trusting yourself, etc. I feel like this person or situation is gonna try to like still get something out of you. You know, it's kind of like that perfect well, if I can pull at the heartstrings in the right way, if I can say the right words, if I can X, Y, and Z, then they will succumb. And you've been working really hard to not have to engage in that energy anymore. But with Mercury being square to Mars, this is one of the more dominant aspects lately, or transits, I should say. There might be a little bit of bullying, right? Mars energy is fire energy as well, especially if there's like miscommunication or they're not really understanding why you're doing what you're doing. There is going to be a little resistance and some fighting around that. And that's where you do have to hold your ground, right? And there's a way to just say like, okay, let me think on this, or just give me some time, give me some space, etc., to kind of think this through before you make a commitment, before you make a decision. This is about connecting with your happiness. And as we move midweek, I think it's October 9th, Jupiter goes into retrograde. It goes into retrograde this week, period. It's in Gemini. And so you're starting to kind of really connect with what makes you happy, what makes you feel fulfilled. I like Jupiter in retrograde, I'm not gonna lie. Usually retrogrades bring up things we need to address, things we're not really like dealing with appropriately. But with Jupiter moving into retrograde in Gemini, it's also bringing up a lot of the duality. So places that you have been feeling resistant or limited around your happiness, your blessings, calling those things in, the tide is going to start turning. And especially if you have been, quote unquote, like I said, faithful to the process, committed to yourself. Yes, it doesn't always make sense to everyone around us, but thank goodness, like you don't have to convince anyone of anything as long as you feel secure within yourself. And yes, you're still building up some of that security. I do see you waiting. I do see you taking your time with certain decisions or how you want to respond. It is putting some stress on your plate, or I feel like you're getting stressed out, perhaps from this King of Wands energy, or maybe even just with like the daily grunt and grind, the daily to-dos. You feel like you have a lot on your plate, so it is kind of hard to maybe gauge a little bit of what your happiness looks like. But again, that just emphasizes to not make any quick decisions this week. It's not that, and specifically, I should emphasize, specifically around the things that are coming in from the past that have been kind of messy, that don't feel right. It could even be a new opportunity that comes in that is very reminiscent of the past, and you just kind of have to pump the brakes on it a little bit, right? Yeah, we're getting a lot of waiting energy. We have 3 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles is being blocked midweek. So it's talking about not rushing through anything. I feel like I've said that a bajillion times, so please forgive me. But when Jupiter goes into retrograde, the moon is tensely aspected. So, and with that Black Moon Lilith North Node in opposition that I was talking about, it's going to make us feel like a little uncertain, or is this actually working? Is me pursuing my happiness, am I doing it in the right way? Am I being smart? Or I think there's a little bit of fear around some of this past energy. Like if you walk away from it, what does that actually look like? Or if you set up different boundaries than what you had before. This person situation is coming back to you with hopes that you still have that door left open, right? That they can still get their foot in the door. And you're used to opening the door, right? You're used to letting them in. And maybe you've put up some strong boundaries. Maybe you've taken some space, had some time apart. And that's been valuable, I think, for you, because I'm seeing a lot of regrounding, rebalancing, feeling a little more stable and secure. But this is closure, right? This is closure. Pluto moving, going direct end of the week is bringing about that closure. It's starting to solidify the changes that you've been experiencing, especially over the past year and a half or so. Those changes are going to start becoming more of the reality, and we're going to start seeing that past energy slowly leave us. And like I said, I feel like this person is trying to, start fresh, start new, maybe get one last go in is what I'm hearing. But you make this choice, you make this decision to focus on your own empowerment. And I feel like with the Fool, that's talking about you taking a completely fresh new start. It is, I think, going to be a little bit of a shock for something this week. You could also be dealing with this energy in multiple areas of your life, because it does look like you're taking a chance. You're taking a chance to do something new, to do something in a different way. And that's where that empowerment comes in. And honestly, end of the week, there's a lot of positive support in the astrology to help you do so. The tension is stuff that's kind of more leaving you behind. So it's stuff that you're kind of already at the tail end of is what I'm seeing. Yes, it doesn't mean that like, bam, new life is going to be here and, everything's like magically in its place. It's not as much that, and that's where our ego is going to take a little bit of a beating, because we really want movement. It's kind of like in the energy, you can feel like this push, this pull, where you're trying to make stuff happen, where you're trying to, align with the things that make you feel happy, or, putting your best foot forward. And there's been a lot of obstacles. There's been a lot of obstacles. And so we have to make peace with that, right? Challenging. We live in a fast-paced culture. We're used to instant gratification in so many areas of our life that we kind of forget about this value of taking your time. Things take time. Change takes time. Generally speaking, it doesn't happen overnight. But you're not taking these small piddly offers is what I'm seeing, right? Especially from past energy. And I feel like someone is going to get really mad about this. Emperor is Aries energy. I feel like this is directly in alignment with this King of Wands, or even just like I said, you could be dealing with this in multiple places of your life, that people don't like that you're actually empowering yourself. Places that you've maybe been subservient to them in the past, where you've maybe, like I said, given them that hall pass when maybe it wasn't really needed. Yeah. But you're reawakening to how you want to live your life in this very beautiful, traditional, harmonious way. And this doesn't mean you have to follow the, white picket fence, 2.5 kids. It's not about that. It's about what feels authentic to you, right? The way that you want to show up for yourself through the next 20 years or so. Pluto governs decades, right? It was, I think this has been like a 15, 16 year cycle. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't move into Pisces until like 2043 or something like that. So we have 20 years in Aquarius, which I like. Aquarian energy brings wish fulfillment. It brings utopia. We're seeing this a lot in the collective popular culture. In the grand scale of things, there's been a lot of push for change, right? To bring down these people, these dynamics that are really gross and vulgar and ugly, and really start for more positive change. And people who have kind of been under those structures or have used control manipulation to take advantage, shady energy, well, unfortunately, those people are going to, pay the repercussions, karma. What you reap is what you sow. Yeah, I love that. The twist. That's so dope. It's such a beautiful, or no, twins. Well, the twist. Well, what I was hearing is the twist is things are going to start working in your favor, right? Things are starting to turn. The tables are turning. And the twins actually kind of moves under that as well. Self-protection, dual natures, right? So seeing the duality in people. The King of Wands is very confident in himself, right? And I think can be a little bit nicer than the Emperor. The Emperor is very much about this control and making things happen and forcing their agenda. And that is a lot of what's coming out, especially with people that have been more shady, have been hiding. You're finding ways to self-protect, and I feel like self-protection is very important this week, as I was emphasizing that value of waiting before you make a response, before you make a decision. The Alchemist, so finding that balance. And this is going to come a lot with you really focusing on your happiness. And this isn't just about like choosing your happiness every day. That's part of it, right? But actually making long-term plans, right? As I was talking about the way that Pluto governs those decade-long cycles, this is about setting the stage for how you want your life to look for the next 15, 20 years. And so, yeah, the masquerade is coming off. And I feel like you're going to see this a lot towards the end of the week. We have someone's mask falling in a way that they really didn't want to, in a way that they were hoping you wouldn't see or you wouldn't acknowledge, or that you wouldn't hold their feet to the fire is what I'm hearing. Because again, they're used to giving you breadcrumbs and then having you open the door for them. And this is a lot about like, allowing yourself to see, sense, and feel exactly what is in alignment with you and making decisions accordingly, right? Not because someone is bringing in drama, chaos, breadcrumbing energy. This is going to be a little bit of a difficult move for them. So we'll see how next week goes, but I like this week. If you feel a lot more grounded, you feel a lot more stable, more confident in yourself, and that's only going to continue to grow, especially as you are closing off these cycles, these more toxic patternings, past people, places, and things. Super beautiful. Thank God, because it has been a little intense lately. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and thank you for your time, energy, always. I hope you found messages that resonated here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or I just love to connect, share, and a little love and blessing. Thank you so much for all you bring to the channel. It honors and blesses my heart. I'm sending all that love and blessings back your way.